Hello, everyone, and welcome to this podcast. I am Claudia Sanchez. I'm so thrilled to have you here, Gaby. We met last year on a retreat,
Yes,
and from that moment, I could tell your great vibes, and you are a very talented person.
thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you for having me here.
Gaby specializes in healing, biodecoding, family constellations, and much more. So, Gaby, if you would like to introduce yourself a little bit about what's your journey right now.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. My name is Gabriela, but you can call me Gaby. Like Claudia said, I specialize myself in biodecodification. This is maybe not a well-known technique in the States, but basically it's very similar to um, all these techniques that they're based that the symptom brings a message. That's basically what it is. So besides that, you can treat your symptom with your doctor. This message, it's within the symptom that you're experiencing. So what I do is to help you to unlock that message and understand what is your body saying, what is your body telling you. And with family constellations, what it does, it basically it reads the field. It exposes what is in your subconscious through a very gentle way where people represent what's going on, and then you can say, okay, this is what's going on with your soul. It's a way of reading the soul through other participants, and sometimes you can do it also individually. And then the other thing I do, it's Atlantean Healing, and that's where this name comes from. And this is more based in also the subconscious, but based on the quantum field. So it works with energy.
Mm-hmm. And about the one that you refer to the soul, you need like a space between you and your client, or is in a group session? How do you work this?
It can be either. You can do it individually,
Mhm.
where I will ask you whether to represent, or we will use toys like dolls, little dolls that will represent your family members, mom, dad, you. So then we can set them like when you were a child and you were playing with different toys and you're like, this is a mom, this is a dad. Well, it is very similar. We do it that way, but in that way, I can see how is in your subconscious set. How is your family set? So it's, for example, I will ask you, is this facing your mom and dad, or is this facing the opposite way? And you can say, oh, it's facing mom and dad. Okay. Then that tells me that probably growing up, you see them fighting a lot and that you get involved into their issues. And even now as an adult, you're still between mom and dad. And this can lead to have failures in relationships. You probably have relationship lasts 2 3 years, but then something happens and you finish, or you're at the edge of getting a divorce. So when someone gets caught between mom and dad, it's not available. Basically, your energy is not available to be with someone else. So this is the kind of information that I pick up using the toys. Now it's very interesting when it happens with a lot of people. So you have 20 people, and then I ask you, okay, choose someone for your mom, choose someone for your dad, and then the people, the representatives will feel the energy of your parents, and that's when your mind blows because it's like, how can they know this, right? How can they
Mm.
feel my parents? Because they will describe, they'll say, oh, I feel that I don't want to look at him, and it feels that I'm rigid, and it feels that, and the client will say, yes, actually my mom was always ignoring my dad, and she didn't want to talk too much. And so you can see all these characteristics.
And some of these things comes from the past, right? From our ancestors, or something that we carry on and we
Yes,
don't even notice. Sometimes it's like unconscious, right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I ask questions like, okay, when this symptom started, when did you start to feel this way? And it's the same day as my grandfather's birthday. So for me, that's a clue, right? So I'm like, let's see how is your grandfather, you know? So we choose the grandfather, and there you go. Sure enough, there's something that was with him, and that day, since it was his anniversary, you started to channel that energy. So healing your
Right.
grandfather, story, then you can release yourself from that role.
Oh, that's really, really interesting. Definitely, we need to do that sometime.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we are going to explore today my three core pillars from Discover Self Journey that are perspective, purpose, and passion. And through conversation like this, like we're having today, my purpose is to inspire and empower others to embrace their own path, that they live with fulfillment and joy. And with that, I would like to ask you the first question. What do you believe is your true purpose in life?
Well, thank you for asking that. That's a question I've been asking myself since I was a child. And I'm glad that now at my 40s I have the answer. But I think that that's basically guiding others. It's guiding people to find themselves, to know themselves, and to heal themselves, Like everyone to find their true purpose through deep healing and find who they are and empower them. I want them to feel that they do have the power of their life. That they every day they decide what's the next thing they're going to experience.
How you were feeling before you didn't find your purpose yet?
It was actually a journey. Um, Growing up in a family that both of my parents are psychotherapists. I was very pushed to do psychotherapy myself, but
Oh,
in the same time, I am an artist and I had that rebellion like against parents. So I'm not going to do what you do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I want to be nothing like you.
I
I want
heard that.
to the artist side. So I'm a photographer and I have also a BA in advertising. I used to work as copywriter in advertising companies. But that didn't fill my heart. I was always like, every day was I I don't feel I was born to do this. I was at the office, then I work in marketing somewhere else, and I was like, I I felt I was born to do something else, you know. And it wasn't until I was honest with myself that I was like, what I love the most to help people every day. I enjoy it. That's what I love. So that's when I switched and I started actually through quantum healing. I started to study how to help people through the quantum field in Argentina, where I'm originally from. And I have to tell everyone this is what I do. And obviously, my parents being psychotherapists, they didn't understand much about it, and they were about what do you mean energies? What is I'm like, okay, it was just I show you. So I would show my mom. She was the one was a little bit more open. She was like, okay, I don't understand how that happened, but I feel it. And then eventually I started to go through biodecodification because I really like it. After my first trip to Egypt, no, my second trip to Egypt, I woke up that I wanted to study biodecodification and then family constellation. So I keep incorporating techniques. And I know I'm in the right place because it's when you do it because you love it. Like
Wow,
it just comes naturally to me. It's my passion.
that's really powerful that you came trying to find yourself through doing different activities, and then finally you say, this is my place, this is where I want to be, and this is what I want to follow so I can help others. That's really inspiring. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, how do you incorporate passion into your daily life or work?
Um, it's the never-ending story of studying. I just love to study. one of my friends was telling me the other day, you're constantly reading. I'm constantly reading. I have like 4 or 5 books all around the house, and I read this, I read that, and I study different disciplines, so I don't not stuck in one. So one of my passions is also Buddhism. So I love to study Buddhism, and then I'm studying maybe other books that are related to the Atlantean healings and Atlantean history. And then I'm studying also family constellations from a different perspective, because they're also different authors and different points of view. So I just keep studying, and then I love neuroscience. I don't see
Oh,
myself
wow.
scientist, but I love neuroscience. So I read about that, and then I try to merge and find the common points in everything from Buddhism to neuroscience to constellations. I also love nutrition, so I like to learn a lot about nutrition and how the way we eat influencing our behavior. So I try to link everything, because when I have someone in front of me, I just don't stick with one thing. Sometimes it's like, how are you eating? Um, if you having your glucose spiking, it's going to be very hard for us to put you in a track of emotional stability. So I need you to start to, go to a nutritionist and find a better diet for you. So I like to have tools that
Mhm.
will help me, and I see the person in front of me as a whole, considering all the knowledge that I have. Like, how are you sleeping? Oh, I'm sleeping 3, 4 hours a day. Well, that's going to impact in your emotions. So we have, a perspective of every single detail of their life and how I can help. Okay, so this is my field. We're going to work with your emotions. We're going to look into this trauma, but I still want you to change your diet. I still want you to try to sleep 8 hours a day, exercise, so that's how I keep my passion. It's like a never ending story of knowledge that I want to incorporate.
What is one of the latest books that are you reading right now?
Actually, oh, all right, let me share with you guys.
Yeah.
Good giant book. It's called The Mystery of Belitsena Bilka.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Um,
wow. What it's
uh,
about?
so this book, it's about the Atlanteans. Actually, it's based on a true story. It's a woman in Argentina who was put in a psychiatric, and she said that she had all the knowledge from Atlanteans. And then she was found killing her self with symbols, and she was like murdered with a string of hair. And that's true information. Like, it's in the archives of Argentina. Like, this actually happened. And she sent all her manuscripts to her doctor, so he published them, and he talks about Atlanteans and the war between the white Atlanteans and the black Atlanteans, and how Atlantean end and how they divided. So it's a lot to take. And I was reading also this book. Um, it's called Family Constellations from Sara Levita.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let me see if I have one that could be in English for you guys. Uh, Yes, I actually do. Uh, I'm sure you can get this one. Is for Arnold Toynbee and Isaac Ikeda.
Choose your life.
Choose Your Life. Yeah. So he was a Peace Nobel Prize, and Isaac Ikeda is a Buddhist philosopher. So I just jump through one thing and the other. It's a lot.
I love it. I love those books. I
One
will
more.
put them in my in my wish list to read.
Oh, this one it's really nice too. It's called Draw Your Feelings, and it has been very helpful. Sometimes people don't know how to express how they feel. Sometimes I ask people, "What do you feel in your body?" These, and so they're not very aware. So sometimes this book can be also a self therapy book. Drawing yourself and put colors to the feelings, like anger will be representing red, blue will represent sadness, and I feel in this part of my body, and this it's really nice also for children. If you have children, it's a nice way to teach them how to express themselves through drawing. A lot of diverse in my books.
Of course.
Diversity.
Do you incorporate that with your child?
Well, my child, yes. Sometimes I can actually. I think I like to talk more. He's the talkative child, like me. So we talk a lot. It's like, okay, how you feel? Well, what do you think that you could do about that? Like, how can I support you? And sometimes it's just like let him. I allow him to feel sad or allow him to be upset in a safe, space. And I'm like, it's okay to feel sad if he misses his grandma or if he's sad for something that happened in school. It's okay to feel sad. We all feel sad
Yes.
at some point. So then he cries it out and then he's over it. And that's the core of it also, we need it.
Oh, that's amazing how you support your child to just feel
Yeah.
and be what they are. That's amazing.
Yes, it's so important to teach them to become aware of how they feel because when you tell someone for so long, don't feel this way, don't feel this way, they disconnect themselves from what they feel and then they become adults who can't tell you literally how they feel.
Mhm.
They separate themselves so much that they're not even aware, and that becomes in symptoms like I eat compulsively, but I don't know why, or I gamble compulsively. I have addiction to gambling. I have addiction to food. I have addiction to these. And when you ask them, but what do you feel? You cannot even go there. But sometimes they're not aware, or sometimes it's just so much that even just asking that unleash like this depression, and they go from euphoric to depression because they've been holding for so long for so much pain that you have to basically cleaning in drops, in little spaces. Okay, let's step into this slowly, and then the process takes so long because you cannot force the process. So
Yeah.
someone who's aware of their feelings, it's like, I see like a water repress, right? Like the water is there and then you release it, it's empty again, and then you release it, it's empty again. But for someone who grew up in a space where they didn't feel safe to express themselves, it's like if you have 10 repress full of waters and you open them all at the same time, it's gonna
Mm.
destroy everything, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard. Parents out there, let your children express themselves and give a safe space and contention. Yeah, that this doesn't mean tantrums. I'm talking about feelings.
Yes. Yes, right. I love what you're saying. More that I have two kids and they are like growing with all these emotions and learning to know themselves. So this what you say really helps a lot. So can you share one life experience that shift your perspective? Like you were believing one way, but then you start with new beliefs.
hmm I think that one of the things that really changed my perspective is a personal um, experience, and it's to become an immigrant. Um, when I was in Argentina, I met my husband there. He's American, and sometimes growing up in Latin America, you look to other countries like they're all the best, and your country is the worst. At least Argentinians, many times we feel that way because of our economics and chaos and corruption. Um, and when I moved here, I've been living here in the States for 10 years, I realized that each country has a strength and a weakness, you know. So there's no perfect place that you can always find the good and the bad here and there and kind of bring down the idealization of everything. It's like this is real life and you can get from this place this and this is amazing, but also make me see the place that I grew up with different eyes and be thankful for it, and then also be thankful for my ancestors because I went last year to Spain where my family is from, and when I saw that beautiful place where they were living and just thinking they were in a boat and crossing the ocean and going to Buenos Aires, massive city, from this little tiny town in Spain and never come back, because I never went back. That really made me appreciate all the effort they have done in order to us to, have a better life, because that's what they thought. They moved there in the time of Frankism, so they were really afraid of their life. So because they moved to Argentina, here I am, and that really changed my perspective, because it really went through my body. I really integrated. It was like, wow, it's not easy to be an immigrant. And now I see what my ancestors have done for us, and all the things they've been through. And back then we didn't have internet, we didn't have airplanes. I say goodbye for good to your family, to your mom, to your dad, and maybe a letter once or twice a year. That's that.
Yeah, I imagine when I moved here, I felt as well the big change in my life. And how long have you been here in the US, and how did you feel at the beginning?
Um, Next year is gonna be 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
2015. At the beginning, I think I had all the excitement for a new place. Um, but then after we got married, then we looked for my son, and then as my pregnancy went on, and I was finding myself without my closest family. I did have my in-laws, of course, and they supported me a lot, but I didn't have my mom, my dad, my friends from since forever. That changed my perspective, and but really it gave me a sense of what it's important to me. I was like, oh, they're missing out these, and I need them, and I think they would appreciate and they enjoy. And then I took my son back home when he was 6 months. Um, but I think this puts that in perspective, what you truly care. And for me, friends or family are very, very important. So being far away really made me to know myself, maybe to really understand that many things that I thought that would make me feel fulfilled, then at the end of the day, they didn't. So that was another journey, and that definitely changed my perspective on things.
I love it. I love it because sometimes can be hard, right? To move from one place to another. And we need to find this courage to find ourselves again, to go on the road, because now we have a new family that
Yes.
need us, and we need to do the best for them, for
Hmm.
us. So
Hmm.
it's really truly inspiring. So I love your journey that you have been through, and the way that you found your purpose.
Thank
Because
you.
for me, I felt that it was hard to find what I truly wanted. But at the same time, I felt like even when I knew what I wanted to do, it was not so easy to go and jump on the road, because there are like some beliefs that are holding you back from your
Mhm.
comfort zone. But
Yes,
once you do
absolutely.
it, it's like, okay, I'm finally here.
Yes, if it's good, if it's right, it's like that one thing I always ask my clients, what's that one thing that you would do even if nobody pays for it? What comes natural to you? And for me, it's these. Like, I enjoy it so much. Like, I will not stop doing it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
can you tell us about what your upcoming projects, or how can people connect with you?
Yes, so you can find me on social media. It's Atlantean Healing, on Instagram, or my website is atlanteanhealing.org. So you can also check there, or you can Google me, Atlantean Healing, and you should pop up Google as well. I have a Google business, so you can read there my reviews and see what other people think of me. So I'm starting. I had like my first students for Atlantean Healing. So those who like to have a session on Atlantean Healing, then if you love it, you can also start to learn it. So I'll be giving probably 3 or 4 courses per year. And this is where we learn how to heal people through this energetic technique. It's based on my memories when I used to be Atlantean. So I just basically put it all together, and we go through a little bit of history, but then I also teach how to do it to yourself, to your friends, or if you want to give sessions as well. So that's my next project. And then going to Turkey at some point this year. I've been called to go to Turkey to connect and reconnect. So, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I encourage everyone to visit Gaby's website and work and see all the healing possibilities that she can offer and all her services that are amazing. Well, the purpose of this podcast, as I mentioned before, is to inspire and empower others to embrace their unique journey because everybody will have their own path. But if we live with passion and with purpose, I know we will have a fulfillment and grateful life. Thank you so much, Gaby, for
Thank you,
being
Claudia, for
here.
this opportunity, and thank you, everyone who stood with us listening. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much. And well, stay tuned for the next podcast and see you next time.